Is joining us from Israel-Gaza border live as we speak. Amrit, what can you tell us about the situation on the ground? There appears to be some suspense over the ground offensive by the Israeli army in Gaza.
Okay, I'm back in Tel Aviv. I was at the Israel-Gaza border. Shubhendu just came back from there. We operate out of Tel Aviv. Go there because they're basically they've evacuated all towns, settlements, villages there, and people have been moved out. Only the army is there. They've declared it a military zone, and some journalists who are allowed to report there during the day. Most journalists report there in the day and come back. So I'm in Tel Aviv. Anyway, you were asking about the ground offensive. Ground offensive. The IDF has made it clear they're not going in for a ground offensive as of now. It's a fact that they've amassed a huge number of tanks, their infantry, heavy military equipment, artillery guns along the land border with Gaza Strip. But for the moment, they're not going in for the ground offensive. There were indications that, basically they've done the preparation. If need be, they would go in. But right now, because going in has its own set of complications, as Colonel Pillay was saying, it's a heavily tunneled area, so a very densely populated area. In fact, Gaza is said to have the most is one of the most densely populated areas in the world. The per square kilometer density of people living is highest in the world. It's the built-up areas are really crowded, and if they go in and with their infantry and tanks and RT guns, etc., the amount of civilian casualties that you're seeing right now in thousands could go up considerably higher. So they'll have to weigh that. There is international pressure on them, and what do they achieve? Because every war or every military maneuver has an end objective. Their end objective, stated end objective, is wiping out the Hamas or decimating the Hamas, as various leaders of Israel have said, including Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and their foreign minister and the IT minister, using different words at different times, saying we'll reduce them to rubble, etc. But even if they're not able to decimate the Hamas, they surely would want to weaken the Hamas. That is the military objective. The IDF would have to weaken the Hamas to such extent that it is not able to effect the kind of attacks they did on the 7th of October and the days following that. I think they wouldn't. If they go in, that would be at a later stage, and once they have very specific information. Of course, there's this problem of hostages. What if Hamas in retaliation starts killing the hostages, which has a considerable number of foreigners as well? Would those countries permit them? They would have to ward off those countries' pressures at this time when emotions are charged up on the streets of Israel, when people have seen such a trauma and traumatized and on the edge. If horrific images emerge of them slaughtering those people, then IDF will have to really think hard, and Benjamin Netanyahu would have to think hard whether it was worth going in. But the military offensive continues. Okay. They're pounding Gaza through aerial bombs, through their attack helicopters, etc. And the Hamas is not backing down either. They are firing rockets into it, 20, 30, 40 rockets in a barrage of rockets. Every 30 seconds a rocket lands here in the Israeli territory. So neither side is backing down, even as the humanitarian crisis unfolds, and of course the diplomatic efforts are stepped up.
Okay, given the circumstances that you reported, Amrit, that Hamas continues to fire rockets, there's a battle going on at the borders with Gaza. You're in Tel Aviv. How is this conflict felt in the city of Tel Aviv in Israel? And if your camera person could give us a better glimpse of what the city seems like at this time of the day.
Okay, I'll get out of the frame and ask my cameraman to show you. Tel Aviv seemingly is normal, but there are, I'll tell you, I've been here for the past almost a week. The place that we're staying in, the hotel that we're staying in, rocket fire comes here. So what they do is, even if they neutralize the rockets, शहर दिखा दीजिए थोड़ा, pan कर दीजिए camera. So the rockets rocket attacks, the sirens go off. You have to run to safe shelters. The sentiment on the streets of Tel Aviv and other cities of Israel that I've been is, of course, people are in shock and trauma. It's not easy to live a life like this, and there is a very strong sense of retribution. There is anger in people when you go out and talk to them, and even ask a question that there are civilians in Gaza which are paying the price. Hamas may be terrorists. They give very pointed and reactionary answers to that. Go on to the extent of calling all of the Palestinians terrorists, etc. One can understand the emotions are running high. They've seen such mayhem, such brutal way that Hamas fighters, guerrillas, terrorists, whatever you want to call them, executed. They came in through the land, they came in through sea on boats, broke the fence and the wall with bulldozers, came in on bikes, slaughtered children, raped women, burnt people alive, stabbed them, killed people, were in a festive mood. So they are visibly hurt, and there is a sense of strong retribution. And that is why it is not easy for Benjamin Netanyahu's government, despite international pressure, to declare any kind of ceasefire or stop any military operations there. The IDF, of course, would have a military objective, as I was speaking earlier, but Benjamin Netanyahu is a politician by the end of the day.
Okay.
He has to act on what the public sentiment of his country is, and that is really of reprisal and retribution right now.
Okay, Amrit, in the context of the humanitarian crisis unfolding amidst this conflict, what is happening to the pending aid delivery to Gaza? There were reports coming in that the aid coming in from different parts of the world is piling up at the Gaza border, but not made available to those in need. What can you tell us about it?
There were announcements that Rafah border crossing, it's a border crossing with Egypt on southern Gaza Strip, on the south of Gaza is Egypt. That would be opened, but then Israel bombed the Rafah crossing. That stopped. Hardly any aid was allowed to pass. You're right. There is a lot of aid that has come from Europe, from other parts of the world. Is lying. There are thousands of trucks standing near the Rafah border, waiting to cross on the Egyptian side, waiting to cross into Gaza. But the Israelis don't seem to be letting any window right now. As I said, both sides are taking maximalist positions. So, frankly, the Israelis don't care whether the Gazans get aid or not. The mood in this country is one of retribution. They believe that they've been hit, so they don't care unless they exact revenge. But yes, diplomatic efforts are on. President Biden will be here tomorrow. Then he goes to Amman, where he meets Mahmoud Abbas, the Jordanian president, and also there are reports that the Egyptian president could be there. So, there would be diplomatic efforts. The UN has been consistently saying things are going really bad. Antonio Guterres said it's on the verge of abyss. There is shortage of water. Drinking water has finished there. So people are drinking from other sources which are not clean. There is a huge threat of waterborne diseases, etc. So there is a humanitarian crisis unfolding there. So I think the Israelis will, under international pressure,